Nice. All right. Hey guys.
Very loud when you're right next to you.
I'm sorry. I'm a loud person. It's just how I am. It's only because Brendan said that to me at the game today.
You are a loud person. Anyhow,
we want to do the compare and contrast video for you guys to compare
we didn't
Disneyland
even do Race Expo either. We can touch on that briefly.
Well, okay, we can wing that.
We can wing that.
That'll be
We're
fun.
good at winging.
We want to talk about Disneyland versus Disney World, okay, and what we like, what we don't like. I took a bunch of notes, have it all written down here. Hopefully, you're gonna see me going like this a lot. Sorry.
We'll edit him out.
Is that what it is? Mm-hmm. What are you working on?
Nothing. You just keep talking.
Okay, I'll keep talking. All right, so what I thought we would do is we'll go over pros for Disneyland first, and then we will go over cons for Disneyland, and then we'll move to Disney World, go over pros for Disney World, and the cons for Disney World. So the first big pro that we noticed with Disneyland is that everything is very close.
They're like residential houses surrounding it.
Right next door. Like
Which
you
means
can live right
big,
next to Disneyland.
But they're big, giant privacy fences.
That's true. But you're a 10-minute walk from Disneyland. So, I mean, nothing was far away. Staying off property didn't mean anything. Off property was another 15 feet, it seemed like. It was ridiculous. I mean, we stayed at a Best Western Hotel, 15-minute walk to the main gates.
And we got a free ride because he felt bad for me the last day.
Well, we had just run a half marathon, too. So.
But he gave us a free ride.
He did. Always good. Always good. But you didn't hear that Disneyland. We don't want to say anything.
No. We paid.
Yeah. But it was good. And it was really nice having everything close.
And there was a lot of hotels within that
yeah.
proximity. It wasn't just ours. There was like at least 20.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Just on the block alone where we were, there was at least 12. And then it still went down the other block and all the way around the whole park and everything like that. So really wasn't that bad. Next big pro was fine dining. And I want to specify fine dining because I don't think that I've ever had anything bad to eat in Disney World.
Except for Cosmic Rays.
I like Cosmic Rays. It's good. Ignore her. All she's had is hamburgers. So, but I like Cosmic Rays. Anyhow, as far as fine dining goes, we've eaten at a couple fine dining restaurants within Disney World. Be Our Guest, Les Celliers,
The Castle.
We've been to some of them, but Napa Rose.
Oh my God.
Was
Shout out to Katie's gymnastic coach who recommended it as a nice date restaurant. And when we looked it up, they were like, oh, it looks really nice. It's pricey, but it's really nice. I'm like, it's just the two of us. This will be my little treat for Jason. And then they told us it was like an 18-month waiting list. So I called. I spoke to Gregory. They had a cancellation for the night we were getting there at 8 o'clock. And look at this. Can you see this? That is the cheesy cracker deliciousness. That was the best thing ever.
It was really good.
That's the rest of the bread basket. I took pictures. I don't take pictures of my food. That's the delicious steak. That's Jason's oyster, blah, blah, crab, something or other. And then that's his truffled mac and cheese.
So good.
And then
it was really good.
Then the dark chocolate charfrin thing with banana puree and caramelized croutons that I wanted to lick the plate. Thank you.
It was, and the thing is
and that's his caramel bundt cake thing. He liked it, whatever.
It was good. The thing is none of the servings or portions were huge. But the timing of the meal, the way they brought it out, and everything like that.
We rolled it home.
It was great. It was so good. And our server, his name was Mickey. Right, number 3. One thing that we really liked is we liked the proximity of the parks to each other.
And we'll touch on this when we get to Disney World. But you go to
Right.
Disney World, and we always try to do the 4 parks in one day. And by the time we get to the 3rd park, we're like, we hate our lives because we have to walk to the bus stop, wait for the bus, get on the bus, then walk to the and blah 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 blah.
It's a lot. It's tough. If you've ever done the 4 park challenge, it is tough to do. It
Especially
really
with
is.
children.
Oh yeah. But I mean, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. I still like it. But it's tough because everything's so spread out. Out there, everything was so close. We went from one park to the other. We just kept going back and forth.
And you can fast pass in one park and then go fast pass in another park, and they don't conflict.
Which was really nice. So we really did enjoy that.
This was a weird thing we never didn't talk about. No magic bands at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Pro or con. Not quite sure. It was neat to go back to having a card, a little ticket with Minnie Mouse on it.
I didn't like it.
But the convenience of the magic bands. But the bonus part of that is when we got home, I didn't try to use my magic band to pay at the grocery store.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. But I like my magic band. I'm a magic band snob. I like the magic band. So, and then the 4th pro, we're the rides. The rides in general.
Indiana Jones.
Oh my God, what a ride that
Indiana
was.
Jones.
That was such a great ride. It covered so much stuff.
It was dinosaur, but it was Indiana Jones. So
Right.
it was better.
Right, and it was just really neat the way it covered everything and everything was managed and worked through. I'm dropping all my papers, so that's why I'm doing this. I apologize. But
that was better. Pirates was longer.
Right, I feel like the content was the same. It was a little bit more of the pirate ships and stuff like that out in California, and I liked it because it was a little different. They had a couple more drops than we have down in Florida.
They have California Screaming, which is the outdoor roller coaster, which I understand probably not good for Florida with all the thunderstorms, but it was a really great roller coaster.
I did like it. It was a good roller coaster. I'm gonna admit something here. I like Rock and Roller Coaster better.
It's a different roller coaster. It's indoors.
Well, yeah, but I like the loops and the twists and that.
Hyperspace Mountain.
Oh yeah, by far.
So much better than Space Mountain.
Oh yeah, by far.
So much, except for the obnoxious children in front of us. But other than that, it was amazing. Like, even if you're not a Star Wars fan, it was an amazing ride. It
was really immersive. That's what I liked about it. Because when you're on Space Mountain, you get a hint of it, right? In the beginning, going up and all that stuff. You get a little hint of it. But
we
out
had
in
Admiral
California,
Akbar yelling at the trap in our ear.
It was fantastic. I mean, every twist and turn had something in it.
And you have Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, which is a classic. I mean, it's just there. It's hokey, but it's there, and it's amazing.
What else? Big Thunder Mountain Railroad was longer.
Much better.
I like that ride
Splash
a lot
Mountain
better.
was different. It was a flog flume. So everybody got so
drenched.
One of our friends had to wring her pants out in the bathroom.
It was so crazy. I could not believe how wet we got on that ride.
Matterhorn, not a fan.
Like
the Yetis.
I did like the Yetis, and I think Matterhorn. The problem is the Matterhorn was made in what, like the 60s or 70s?
It's the 50s. It's the original or 70s, whatever. It's old.
It's old, and
original
people
track.
were shorter back then. And not that I'm a giant among men by any stretch of the imagination, but
his knees were up here.
My knees were in my chin. It was and it was rough because it's a very violent ride. I mean, the twists and turns are very violent. Not that
it's like a mousetrap ride.
Yeah, I would go with that. So
it's like the Primeval Hurl. Also not a fan.
Yeah, it's not quite as bad as the Primeval Hurl. But
I'm trying to think if there were any other rides that really stood out. I don't think so.
Nothing that, I mean, everything else was, I mean, we enjoyed them. We liked them. But there's certain ones that just really spoke to us and we really enjoyed, so.
Oh, and Cars Land.
Oh, that's true. How can we forget the racers?
See, now Cars Land, the racers are very similar to Test Track.
Yes.
But they're better because they're all made. We learned a little trivia about Test Track, about how it's made. Like 12 different companies made it, and that flight breaks down all the time.
That's true.
And so the racers were all made by the same company. It was smooth. It was fun. It was exciting. Like, they really did it well.
It went together really well. And
and it was neat to run through it in the morning through the race, and then to get to ride it later was really cool because you ran around. That was neat.
That was cool. Neat. So we enjoyed that. So that was it. Yeah, those are the big pros we have for Disneyland.
We'll come up with more. Pardon me for yawning.
Oh no! Am I boring you?
No.
That's Disneyland there. Okay. So you want to bring the cons over around here? So we can
look at the cons.
We're gonna go through the cons for. Or are you gonna go through the pros for Disney World?
No, let's do the cons.
All right.
No utilidors.
Yeah.
Didn't realize how much we actually came to depend on them for some magic until they weren't there.
And it's funny because you don't think about them, right? And for those of you who don't know what the utilidors are, Disney World is the actual Magic Kingdom is the second floor of the park. The first floor are all these tunnels underneath the park where cast members can go through. So if you work in Adventureland, you walk through the utilidor to go to Adventureland. You're not walking down Main Street and everything like that.
And
to get
true
to Adventureland.
story, they're very strict about it. We had a friend who worked there. When the Elsa dresses came out, she got a tip that there were Elsa dresses. She knew we needed to get one for our daughter. She had to leave where she was working, go down the utilidor to the dressing room, get changed into her street clothes, and come back because she's not allowed to be seen in the park in her work attire.
Yeah.
And that does not exist in Disneyland.
No.
And so the next one's a con for the most part. Everything was just smaller. Like the castle. The teeny
It was small. It was small.
Now, that being said, to be able to see the apartment where Walt Disney lived
that was
with the
cool.
lamp on, can't compare. That can't compare.
Nice.
But everything was teeny tiny.
Well, I just felt like the walkways were more congested. I don't feel like there were more people in the park. I don't feel like the park was over full of its capacity.
Things were shorter.
You know, the lines weren't long for the rides and stuff.
Except for Peter Pan, which I never got on.
That was really long. That's the ride they run for in the morning. Did you know that?
Because there's no fast passes.
Everyone runs to get on Peter Pan.
I would too, except that I couldn't run very well after the race. That's kind of tired.
But I felt like the walkways were narrow, you know.
So we noticed that in the races too. There's a couple of bottlenecks where going through the castle where, I mean, when you run through the Princess, you ran through the castle and it got a little congested, but people knew enough to just keep moving. They did not know enough to just keep moving. They just were like, oh, it's a tiny castle. So they stopped.
So what else we got?
The service. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
Nobody was rude. Nobody denied us our Disney privileges.
It's hard to put a finger on.
But there was nobody that stood. Every time we go to Disney World, there's always one person that totally stands out as being exemplary. Like, case in point, going back to the Elsa dress. Our daughter got the Elsa dress. We were there for our oldest daughter's Sweet 16. It was August in Florida. It was 9,000 degrees, and Caitlin insisted on wearing the Elsa dress into the park. Obviously, she overheated. We bought her a t-shirt to wear because she had shorts on. My bad, I put the dress on the back of the stroller. I don't know if it fell off or somebody lifted it. I have no idea. But the dress was lost 2 days before the Halloween party that we were going to. So Katie was 6 at the time. And she was a trooper. She's like, that's okay, I'll wear something else. And I said no. We went into... Where'd we go?
Castle Couture, wasn't it?
No. Sir Mickey's.
Sir Mickey's.
It was the Elsa and Anna store because they had just gotten a new shipment in. I went up to buy the new dress, and the girl at the counter happened to look at Katie and go, oh, is this your first Elsa dress? Katie's like, nope. She's like, I lost mine. She's like, what happened? She brought the manager over, and long story short, they gave us the dress for free. They didn't have to do that. They could have said, tough luck, people, but they did that. And I just felt that Disneyland, had that happened, that might not have been the result.
Yeah, I mean, they were very nice. They were...
But a lot of locals, too. There was, when you go to Disney World, there's people from all over
the place.
And they're from Allentown, Pennsylvania. My husband grew up in Allentown. Everybody's from California.
Yeah, they were all
California.
from there. Yeah.
One from Nevada. One person from Nevada.
Yeah, not a geographically diverse workforce. How's that? Let's see what else we got here. Oh, and then transportation. This is more
isn't
coming
so much
from
Disney.
The airport to Anaheim. There's not a lot of options. It's not. I mean,
They were scary.
They were.
Like, for the two of us, I was okay. But had I had my small children with me, I would have been a little concerned about the driving that was going on. Like, we probably, if we were to do this again, we'd probably rent a car from the airport. Because I would trust his driving or my driving over the people they had driving around that airport.
And that's not to say, because the people on LA highways are insane. I mean, there was a woman next to us doing 75 miles an hour putting on makeup. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, while watching a YouTube video on how to put on the makeup. Like, it was bad.
You know, and not that our driver was any better, because he's sitting there driving along and looking down at his tablet, you know, more than he's looking at the road.
And the little girl in the back, like, was not restrained at all, like, crawling all over the cabin. It was,
it was an interesting ride. And it was expensive. We were in a shared van, which means there was 2 of us and
7 others.
7 other people, getting a ride down, and it was $90 for us round trip.
And
Looking back on it, there was an option to get like a town car or something like that to take just the two of us, and it would have probably cost an extra $50 or $60. If we ever go again, by just the two of us,
right? Yeah.
I may do that, because riding in that van with everyone else, one, it took us longer to get to our hotel because the driver couldn't find the other couple that he was dropping off first, couldn't find our hotel, and we drove around Anaheim for 15, 20 minutes.
Even though we drove past it 3 times.
3 times. The people in the van had to get their phones out and GPS it for him and give him directions to the hotel.
But see, now, that segues into pros for Disney World.
And the first big pro,
Magical Express. If you are staying on property and you don't take advantage of that, why?
It's amazing. And even their it's more than a Magical Express. It's all their transportation. In California, if you want to use the Disney transportation, you have to pay for it. You pay for it.
Unless you're us and you get a free ride. Because I look pathetic.
But in Disney World, you get a bus anywhere. You get a boat anywhere. You get a monorail where you need to go.
Yeah.
You can't beat that.
And the one time the Magical Express got a little messy, Disney paid for a taxi to get us to the airport on time. Like,
the 7 of us
took care of us. Like,
they
here
got
you
us
go.
a big conversion van to pick us up and take us to the airport. So we made our flight, and Disney picked up the tab. So you can't beat that. I'm sorry. That is a fantastic.
And even if you're going to
perk.
go, because I know people that go and they spend, and they rent a car.
Mm-hmm.
They'll deliver the rental car. They have rental car. Hertz is on property.
Hertz is on property.
They'll deliver it to your hotel. So we had to rent a van to go to church the one time because we are that family. And they brought us to the rental car and then picked us up in the parking lot.
They were fantastic.
Yeah, so
it was great.
Magical
Express.
Great
experience.
Yeah, except on the way home because then it's the Magical Express. But we won't talk about that.
Yeah. Another pro, staying on property itself.
Many more options in Disney World. So what we paid for in Disneyland, we couldn't afford. I'll be honest, we could not afford to stay on property in Disneyland. It was too expensive.
The hotels out there, we just
even with
swing
DVC,
those.
like to waste that many points for 4 nights for the two of us. For the kids, maybe the kids had been with us, it would have been like, okay, we're going to California, but just the two of us, we sleep in the bed. That's better.
Yeah, and what we paid for a night out there for the Best Western
would have gotten us into All-Star Pop.
It would have covered Art of Animation. I think Art of Animation's $145 or something a night.
Yeah.
And I don't think we.
I mean, it was a nice hotel. It was a nice room, and I wouldn't have wanted to pay any more for it. But yeah, staying on just the benefits of staying on property with the transportation and having a food court in your hotel or close by your hotel, and extra magic hours, and just easiness.
So that we love the idea of staying on property. I mean, we've gone down.
We'd like to live on property. I always cry when we have to check the box that says I will not try to live in this hotel room. I'm the one who's like, I would like to live in this hotel room. Thank you.
I would too. How could you not? I mean, some of those rooms are unbelievable. But
look at you, Bay Lake.
Well, I liked Old Key West that time
in Saratoga.
And Saratoga's nice.
Yeah, we like them all.
So
we're not picky.
Another big pro down in Disney World. Oh, in the parks.
Free Wi-Fi.
How can you go wrong with that?
Yeah. No, it's bad.
They didn't have it in Disneyland. I was really really surprised.
Had it in the hotel, hard to connect to. But you know what? Sometimes Art of Animation was a little dicey when we went.
Sometimes, but it was new when we went there. So they were working out kinks and stuff. In the parks, though.
Even Animal Kingdom, there's Wi-Fi. Not in Disneyland.
We actually had
actually not in Six Flags. Our daughter and son were just in Six Flags, and they were complaining no free Wi-Fi. And their friends were like, nobody has free Wi-Fi. And they're like, Disney does.
Which surprises me. I'm surprised in this day and age, people, because I mean, what do people do when they're in the parks? They post pictures. I mean,
you're paying that much money for a ticket, you can throw in some free Wi-Fi, people.
And it's free advertisement. I have friends that are in Disney World now. They're throwing out pictures like, I want to go to Disney. I want to go. I miss it. I want to be there. So I really think that's something they should look for in Disneyland, is implementing that. Customer service in Disney World. That's our 4th pro down there.
Like we said, they're just...
they always seem to be happy to go that extra mile. It's not that the people in Disneyland won't help you out and won't try
Because
to
there's
get
that
you what
whole
you
thing
need.
that was on social media with the girl with the lanyard, the little autistic child that lost the lanyard, and she went
Yeah.
out of her way. That's what I'm talking about. And it just felt like in Disneyland. I mean, and granted, we were rushed. Like, we were only there for a couple days, and we didn't have the kids with us. And I will say, for the most part, our children are pretty well behaved. So that they do get compliments, where when it's just the two of us, we're not as
Yeah.
well behaved.
Yeah,
So we
but
might be.
but my example is we had reservations for a restaurant in Disneyland after the half marathon, and we got there maybe about 10 minutes before it closed. And I know it's 10 minutes before it closes and everything
But the
like
gate,
that.
the
And they were getting ready to
security
set up
was
for
ridiculous that day. There was a lot of security. It was hard to get into the park.
We just couldn't get, and they wanted to get set up for the lunch service, and I get that, but I really think like in Disney World.
We had one.
They
The
would've
girls
sat
had
us.
were at Bibbidi Bobbidi in downtown Disney. Got delayed because there was a whole bunch of drama, but they were delayed. We had a 10:30 at a Akershey House, whatever you want to call it. He went with the 3 kids that weren't there, and they held the reservation for us. They were like, "You wait until everybody gets there. You guys can go in and eat. When they get there, send them in, and we'll take." Because you're losing my money then. You just lost my $40 for my buffet. Now we ended up eating up the Star Wars place, which was fantastic.
It was
and I
good.
had Darth by chocolate. Once again, all about the food. But after you run 13 miles, it can be all about the food.
So, but that's it, and so that I feel like in Disney World they go that little extra distance, which I really like. And that's not to say the customer's always right, and the customer should get anything that they want. I don't believe that at all. But I feel like,
If I'm spending that much money, you should be a little nicer to me sometimes.
and they do. I feel like they do down there. All right, some cons for Disney World. I have to say, I had the hardest time coming up with cons. I love Disney World. I do. I love it.
We want to work for you. Hire us, Disney
Yes.
World.
Well, I want to retire down there and drive the tram.
I don't know what I don't know. I just want to work there.
Yeah.
I want to book people's vacations.
That'd be
and I
awesome.
can tell them, don't stay there. Stay on Disney property.
That works.
Okay, anyway. Place is huge.
That's the one con. It's
Not the one.
ginormous. Well, it's
So
the
where
one.
in Disneyland you could go from park to park, and the other part we didn't talk about was downtown Disney out there. It's right outside the parks.
Yeah.
So if you forget something to buy a souvenir for your child in the park, you can just walk through downtown Disney and go to World of Disney and buy whatever it is you need
Very true.
very easily. So much easier than one time we were there and a friend had asked us to get an Ariel tiara, and we were in Epcot and Mouse Gears did not have Ariel, so we had to take the bus to Disney, now Disney Springs, down to Disney at 11.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm so tired, but you do what you have to do.
It was.
So that part, just, you can't, like we said, you can do all 4 parks. When our 16-year-old, soon to be 18-year-old daughter, for her 16th birthday, we did a Princess Quest, which if you've never done, lots of fun. You meet all the princesses in one day, and they have a whole game that they play with you that they don't talk about, which is a whole nother vlog. But anyway, that was tough to go from park to park to park to park.
Mm-hmm.
And we only had, it was my friend, Tammy, and I, and 2 teenagers. We had no small children that needed help. It was just the 4 of us, and we didn't make it, but it was rough. It was a lot. Where in Disneyland, you can just go, hey, park,
Yeah.
you're over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second con is,
Depending on when you go,
and I don't want this to come across the wrong way, because everyone has a right to visit and vacation wherever they want.
we do not believe in a wall.
But when you come as a tour group, and there are 150 of you,
Now, this was before Magic Bands. This
That's
is when it
true.
was still paper fast passes. So what would happen is you'd go to Fast Pass Rock and Roller Coaster, and there'd be somebody with all of his tour group tickets using all the fast passes.
Yeah.
That I think they've cut down on. But just tour groups in general are certain. When we were there in January, there was a lot of tour groups that weekend, and they were lovely
Yeah.
people. They were very happy to be there, but
yeah, it's
we were not feeling the vibe.
it's just for me, I like to be a little free and easy, and while they're more structured, and I get why they are, because you know what, they're far from home. They're coming from like Brazil and a lot of
Brazil is
South
the big one.
America, a lot of people from South America, which is fine. I feel like there's a courtesy to the other people in the park who are not from that tour
Well, yes,
group
we
that
were-
is not
we
getting
were-
this con.
Just the choices and options at Disney World sometimes can be really overwhelming if you're trying to do a lot in the small window of time. What we always do with the kids, we started doing this about 2 trips in, and we've started already because we're going in November because we're nuts, is have them make a list of the top 3 things they want to do. And it can be eating at a restaurant, riding a ride, meeting a character, doing an experience.
Right.
And we tell them you are guaranteed one thing off of each list. Now, our track record, Fiona, would you agree? Yeah. Is you pretty much get to do everything on your list?
Yeah.
We try to, but that way we know Fiona wanted to meet Peter Pan. Alec, I don't even remember what Alec wanted. He wanted to eat somewhere. Beer garden, maybe.
The stunt show.
He wanted to go to the stunt show before it closed.
Lights, Motors, Action Show.
Jameson wanted to ride Expedition Everest 37 for the 37th time, which she did. Katie wanted to meet Sorcerer Mickey and Splash Mountain, and Mackenzie wanted to meet Sleeping Beauty, which was actually the hardest thing to find. But they wanted all of that done. So if you do it that way, but people that come and don't plan and figure, oh, we'll just go in and wing it. If you've only got 3 or 4 days, you can't do it and have a good time. Those are the people that come home and go, I'm never going back to Disney World. That was too much.
The biggest faux pas. My big fancy word, faux pas.
It's not really a big fancy word.
Well, it's fancy for me. So, the biggest faux pas that I have seen first-time visitors make is trying to cram everything in.
And we've done it. We did it.
We have, yeah.
We did it. The second time we went, we tried to do everything, and then we backed off because the kids melted down, and we were like,
yeah.
Oh.
And you know what? And we get it, because it is expensive to go there. And not everyone is like us. Not everyone goes at least once a year, twice a year. All right? You know, it's just that's what we do. That's our family thing. That's what we love to do, and that's how we like to be and where we like to be. You know, some people it's, once every 5 years. Maybe sometimes it's just once in a lifetime. And you don't want to miss out on anything. And I get that. But if you try to push yourself to get everything in, that's good. What's going to make it a good or bad trip for you?
Yeah.
You're setting yourself up for failure. It's too big. There's too much there.
Yeah.
I mean, we go 2-3 times a year, and we still don't get to see everything.
We only go for a week. That's all we can afford to go for at this point, with the kids' school and whatever.
Yeah.
We could easily do 10 days. Easily do 10 days and still not see everything. But we also go at a more relaxed place. The last time we were there with family was last June and July. My family came over from Scotland, and boy, that'll be a vlog when they're all coming. We're doing a big trip November 2017, which is going to be, there's like 30 of us going.
It's going to be huge.
All the Scottish people. But we took a day, the last day we were all together was July 5th. Mm-hmm. And we were in Old Key West. They came over and hung out with us in the morning. And then we went into the park because we knew we wanted to do this. We wanted to eat here. And it was much, and that's what she said, my cousin Katrina, was like, this was lovely. Like, because we got to do everything we wanted to do, but didn't feel like we were running to get to every single thing.
Right. It was more manageable.
And then, I guess this is really long. The last thing is you need to check out is PhotoPass. And this is depending on how you are. I love Memory Maker because I hate carrying a camera.
Agreed.
Now, when we go with our awesome friend Tammy, she takes the pictures. Like, I don't have to worry about it. When we went the last time, or went for Fiona's Sweet 16, she took like 3,000 pictures. But we still did PhotoPass because if you're going with friends or family, split the cost of PhotoPass. It's $150, which but if you're there for a week, that is a week of a camera I don't have to carry around. Disneyland, you pay by the day, which good and bad because we paid for it for the race to get our race pictures,
right?
But didn't have it the rest of the time because we didn't really take a lot of pictures. It was just the 2 of us, not the kids.
Right.
But if you don't, the problem with that is if you're only going to the park for 1 day, that's great. If you're going in for multiple days and you only want to buy it 1 day, you better make that the day that you take a lot of pictures. And there weren't as many PhotoPass people in Disneyland as there were in Disney World.
No, there weren't. When you walk into Magic Kingdom, you walk down Main Street, there's one
like 75.
every 10, 15 feet.
Right.
In
front
Disneyland,
of the big castle. That big castle in Disney World, like the big one. The little team. Anyway.
People from California come after us now.
It was a beautiful, I love Sleeping Beauty. It was a beautiful castle. And actually, it's not that much shorter than the one in Disney World.
No, it's a perspective. It's a forced perspective thing.
Yes, and I appreciate that forced perspective. Go Disney World.
But yeah, so
that was really
those are our thoughts. We
didn't even touch on Race Expos.
Oh my gosh, no.
That's gonna have to be another.
And it's gonna be a whole nother video. We'll put that out for you guys. But those are our thoughts. That's what we think of Disneyland,
So
Disney
tell us
World.
what you think.
Yeah, I would love it. Put some comments in here. Let us know what you think. What you like, what you don't like. That would be fantastic.
And hire us Disney World or Disneyland.
No, Disney World.
Beggars.
Disney World. No.
Beggars, choosers.
Disney World. I want to work for Disney World. I'm sorry. I want to work for Disney World. That's where I want to work. I love Florida.
You don't want to go to California.
Okay.
I love Florida.
But I traveled to California. Like, if you need me to go there. Yeah, if you need me to go there.
Yeah,
we go both.
Base me in Orlando, and I'll fly
I'll
to
go to
California.
Shanghai.
Yeah, completely.
We're good.
So, the last thing I would leave you with is, because we go to Disney World so much, it's like our home. We know where everything is.
Probably more than I know where things are in my kitchen.
And I don't want to leave the impression that we didn't like Disneyland.
I
love
Disneyland. I love the ride so much better.
My view on it is Disney World's home. You know where everything is. You're comfortable. It's just, that's your place. Disneyland's like going back to your parents' house after you moved out for a little while.
Well, see, I don't agree.
Oh, I do. You kind of know where everything is, but it's not the same. It's just not the same. You know, I wasn't as comfortable out there as I am in Disney World. That was just me.
But it's only our first trip.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Then we'll go for the Star Wars. We're working on that one.
All right. Well, anyhow, thank you for watching. If you made it this far in the video, good for you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, give it a big thumbs up, and as always, keep dreaming. Thanks a lot, guys.